Can go ahead and get started. So I'll just introduce the club as usual. Hi, everyone. I hope you all are doing well and ready for another exciting meeting at the Future Leaders Gavel Club. My name is Claire, and it is an honor to be your current club president, and I would like to officially call this meeting to order. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to all of our guests, and we sincerely hope that you all enjoy tonight's experience. The Future Leaders Gavel Club is a Toastmasters club open to middle and high school students, in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Our usual meetings will have three parts: a prepared speech section, a table topics or impromptu speaking section, and then finally the speech evaluation section. But as you all know, tonight's meeting is a little bit special because tonight is our 2025 FLGC Senior Sendoff. So I believe we had 4 seniors in total. However, Alvin was unable to make it tonight. So although he is technically also a senior, he is unable to join us tonight, but our other 3 seniors were. So we just wanted to say a farewell to Alvin before we move on. All right, and as we officially call tonight's meeting to order, I would like to briefly go over some of the agenda for tonight's senior send-off. So firstly, I'll begin with the opening remarks, and then I believe our 3 seniors may have received an email perchance about doing a speech. So hopefully you all maybe came prepared with something, but each of our seniors may be doing a little speech as their last speech in FLGC before they officially graduate from FLGC. And then we'll have a nice presentation presented by some of our FLGC members. And then after that, since table topics is a tradition of Toastmasters and FLGC, we thought of something creative, which I will explain later on, where we will ask some questions to our own members, and then we'll ask some questions to the seniors. And that'll be your guys' last table topics. And then we'll kind of end it off from there. And after tonight's meeting, I should be able to email the seniors maybe some digital cards with just some individual messages from our club members, maybe to express thanks or to share some things about the seniors. Ethan, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was gonna ask this in the chat, but it turns out that private chats don't exist anymore somehow. So do these have to be these don't have to take up the full 10 minutes we're allotted, right? Because my planned speech is definitely not that long.
Yeah, no worries. It doesn't have to be 10 minutes. It can be however long you guys want. So I think I might have just allotted like 7-ish minutes since that's the traditional time, but you guys can take however short or long as needed. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. If not, I would just like to start up our senior send-off for tonight. So before we allow the seniors to give their speeches, we just want to say a few words to our seniors. So first of all, a huge thank you to all of our seniors for all of the dedication and hard work they put into FLGC. They were present in, I'm sure, so many meetings throughout the many years they've probably been with FLGC. And I know a lot of them have taken on several officer positions and they have played such important roles in upholding and supporting FLGC and its members. And we just want to say that none of this would have been possible without you guys. So a huge thank you to all of the support. And we definitely show our appreciation and thanks. And I'll speak on behalf of our members, but I'm sure all of us will definitely miss our seniors once they will not be coming back to our FLGC meetings because you guys are like the foundation or the backbone of this club. And I'm sure you have inspired us in so many ways. And I'm sure our members will definitely remember you guys and cherish all the memories that we've had together. All right, I don't want to do any more talking, so we have time for the rest of the meeting. But now I will go ahead and move on to our senior speeches. And I believe William is up first for speech one. So without further ado, William, the stage is yours.
First of all, I would like to thank President Claire for that warm introduction. How is everyone feeling tonight? Can everyone hear me okay? All right, great. So, as you guys know, this club, Future Leaders Gavel Club, this beloved club that meets once every week on Wednesday evenings, actually, depending on where you are in the world, is now such an important part to all of our lives. But it wasn't always like that. In 2021, in the month of May, we actually moved on from a youth leadership program to a full-fledged Gavel Club under the watchful eyes of then our advisors, Miss Elena Pu and Miss Melissa Tao, who is here in our meeting today. So please give her a warm welcome. And remember, guys, these are the people who made this Future Leaders Gavel Club really come to fruition in those early days. Today, I didn't really want to spend all the time talking about what I did as part of the Future Leaders Gavel Club, but I want to really focus it on the club itself and how we've all grown together. So really, future leaders, tonight I only have prepared for you a list of 3 simple takeaways that I've really learned from participating in Future Leaders Gavel Club. And these are 3 takeaways that when you go on into your senior year, or even now, think about these as important pieces of advice on how to approach anything in life, not just Future Leaders Gavel Club. Shall we begin? The first main takeaway is to not give up, even though you may not be good at what you are participating in. I'm sure many of you guys joined Future Leaders Gavel Club with the intent to improve your public speaking. We probably weren't the best of public speakers when we joined this program, but what is important to note is that we all took this first step into a brave new world, and we expose ourselves to so many different perspectives, ideas, and fresh lines of logic. That's something that we don't typically get, especially in our day-to-day lives. Even with those of us with great relationships with our parents, our family members, and our friends, sometimes cannot come to listen to the full spectrum of ideas shared by the members of our club. With that being said, I wanted to encourage all of you as future leaders to not give up on what you have started. What does that really mean, you may ask? Well, number one, if you truly wanted to leave a lasting legacy, you have to work constantly towards self-improvement. Even though in the moment, you may not be the big fish in the small pond, you know that you could well be the small fish in the large ocean. So it's not a question of the food chain of these fish eating fish, but in this ecosystem that we call home, in this ecosystem we more accurately call Future Leaders Gavel Club, we are all given a chance to learn from each other and grow alongside each other. I'd like to begin this next part with a personal anecdote. Personally, I'm an introvert. You'd think that I don't like public speaking. But when this club was founded in 2021, I had the audacity to join it. And by taking that first step, I subjected myself to learning and growing with all of these club members. And slowly, even now, when I walk onto the stages to deliver a speech to an audience, I still get those same chills and those same shivers that I did 5, 10 years back. But I know that Future Leaders Gavel Club has imparted me with the necessary skills to convey my opinions, my thoughts, and advocate for what I think is right. And I'm sure that goes for all of you. My second key takeaway tonight, future leaders, is that when you need help and when you have a vision, ask other people. Be collaborative. Sometimes, as a lone wolf, you can get far in life. You think that maybe, oh, I see this big CEO, Bill Gates, maybe, or even the hotly contested Elon Musk right now. But if you think back and if you look at their personal journeys, although they look like lone wolves out in these big oceans, they are actually so interconnected with their staff, their employees, and they have thousands upon thousands of connections. While you can get far in life alone, you can get much farther with others. And that's one of the key spirits that I think this club stands for, the spirit of collaboration, a spirit that we will never forget in this graduating class. When we move on to college, it's much the same. There will be people out there who don't agree with us. There will be people out there who do. So it's important to find those like-minded individuals and surround yourself with those like-minded individuals so that you yourself can advance farther with the help of others than you could dare of dreaming. This club is an excellent example of this takeaway because just to think of all of the friends that I've made in this club really gives me a already bittersweet ending to my time as a FLGC member. I remember those early days when the founding cohort of Gaveliers included Ethan and also Rachel. I remember how it was a small club at first, which readily expanded. And I remember how we spoke in those days with much younger mindsets, but with the same passion and the same determination. And while we've changed over time, we've welcomed new faces into the club. We've seen all of you grow. And for all those of you who we are familiar with, and those of you who are new members of this club, we just want you to know that we are here for you, and this club is a center of collaborative learning and thinking. My last takeaway, future leaders, is that of a more personal insight, and that is to make connections and keep them. Just as I said, when we first began joining this club, we maybe weren't the most talented speakers, and still today, we still have a lot of improvement to be made on our public speaking skills. But I can tell you that with each new member joining, with each new meeting, just think about it, future leaders. We have about 50 weekly meetings a year, and we've had 4 years of this club, so that's around 200 weekly meetings. And for those of you who are here as new members, those of you who are here as members who joined midway, maybe in 2022, 2023, 2024, or even this year, we just want you to know that if you can persevere and you have the grit to keep going through all of these weekly meetings that we're seeing each other over this very Zoom window, you've done something wholesome, because by committing to this, you're helping yourself to create new connections. I will tell you that I remember the day that Caleb joined the club. I remember how he spoke of his personal background, and we were all shocked because he knew how to speak so many different languages and he knew how to play so many different instruments. These are the types of people you meet when you put yourself out there. Ethan, my great friend since, well, I can't remember. You all know his speaking style and you all know his insightful stories of math and science. Michelle and her brother are frequent guests in the meeting. Well, Michelle is now a full-fledged member, but her brother always likes to pop in. And though Michelle gets quite annoyed when that happens, it's always a pleasure to see new people joining the club in both formal and informal ways. And after we leave as this graduating class, Michelle, maybe you can consider having your brother join as a formal member. For Claire, I remember the day when you represented our club at the international conference for public speaking. So the international level of the prepared speech competition. Claire wowed us all, and she took home the title of first place international champion, representing our club at not only the national but the international levels. And these are just a few examples out there. I could name so many more of you guys. For example, Angelina, I also remembered that when you joined, you had your camera off and maybe you'd answer just one or two table topics questions in the course of maybe 2 or 3 weeks. But slowly you began to engage. I started to see you at competitions because you volunteered to take the timer role. And slowly we saw your camera flick on for maybe just a few meetings at once. But now you are our VPE, steering the club on a bright path. And Rachel, as a part of our graduating class, I just wanted to say that Rachel is the monument of dedication in this club, because I think throughout all of these meetings, she's been the one person who's always been to all 200, no matter where she is in the world. And the other great memory that I have of Rachel is her massive incumbency in this secretary position, a position which she has held basically since the foundation of our club to her graduation now. So as we look back on all of these great memories, we've seen how all of you have grown. And remember, future leaders, that growth and improvement, especially of personal insight and of public speaking, is always a marathon and not a sprint. So with that in mind, we as the graduating class wanted to depart, but not before we said these important words to you, and that is to persevere, to think critically, and to keep pushing forward for your passions. With those 3 things in mind, and with the 3 tips that I've imparted to you throughout my speech, whether that means making new friends and keeping those connections, being bold and stepping outside of your comfort zone, or simply just being able to commit and persevere, all of these are important qualities that you will need, whether in Future Leaders Gavel Club or in any other pursuit. And with that, future leaders, this marks my last speech with you. But we know that as future leaders, our paths will once again cross in the future. And whether it be as an invited guest in the future for our FLGC meetings or somewhere out in the adult and career world when we are all grown up 20, 30 years down the line, I know all of you have made your mark starting here and starting now. And for those of you who are currently in club leadership, I wanted just to say one final thing, and that is you are doing a great job and keep up all of the great work. Keep these weekly Wednesday meetings. Keep up with the creativity that keeps on expanding the club and improving it from its foundations. And with that, I would like to turn it back over to President Claire.
All right, thank you so much, William, yet again for such a powerful, deep, insightful, impactful speech for our FLGC club members. Thank you again for sharing all that amazing advice and for leaving your last words and help and advice for our members. Truly, we appreciate everything you've done for FLGC, whether it's been in a leadership or officer role, or just simply supporting all of our members. And we'll definitely remember all of the memories that we've had with you, such as your piano playing, or whether that's your table topics as Teacher William, or just your endless determination to support all of our members. I'm sure that all the efforts you've put and all the insights you've given us will carry on with the legacy of the club. So thank you so much again, William, for your powerful speech. And next, I would love to pass it on to our next senior, who is Ethan. So Ethan, the stage is yours.
Okay. It's the hardest part of figuring out how not to look stupid because my setup is very ill-suited to videograph a standing person. Not least because the mount my phone is on is like a damped harmonic oscillator and it shakes so much that my eyes have visible motion blur. Yeah. Yo, I am. I'm bringing out my lectern that is actually just the music stand I practiced violin on for the last time. Oh yeah, this is not the greatest speaking setup. This setup is better for like doing stuff on the computer for 8 hours a day or grinding survival Minecraft. But although before I start off, I do know William did give a lot of advice in this speech, and I know some of the remaining members might be sad to see us go. So I decided to cheer you up with this thing that I got recently. It's it's a hard-boiled egg wearing a graduation cap, and it's from the what? The other Ethans asked me if is that a university dorm? No, I'm not at Stanford yet. Stanford's academic year doesn't start until mid-September. I'm still in my study, but I am wearing my new Stanford merch. Anyways, yeah, this if you're wondering where this is from, by the way, it's from the one and only Jellycat. Does it have a co-limited at the end? I don't know. It's just Jellycat Limited. One of the greatest ever plush toy companies ever founded on the face of this planet. This is how you know something is high quality, okay? Okay. But anyways, I see I'm not the only finally I'm not the only person in my immediate circle who knows what Jellycat is. I feel so validated now. Anyways, it's somehow 2025 already. Yeah, time passed pretty quickly. Has anybody seen those two Veritasium videos? One of them is called Why Life Seems to Speeds Up as We Age, and the other one is called Why People Prefer More Pain. Yeah, it's a weird title, but he basically talks about the psychology of why time seems to pass so quickly to us sometimes. And I wanted to bring up those two videos. If you've never seen them, go watch them. Veritasium is one of the best science YouTubers on the platform. But I decided to bring them up because I wanted to remark on how the Future Leaders Gavel Club is somehow already 4 years old, and it hasn't felt like 4 years because, as William stated, this Future Leaders Gavel Club it was created sometime in May 2021, and as one of the founding members, along with William and Rachel, I still distinctly remember the days when this club didn't even have a proper name yet. We just called it the Youth Gavel Club. Highly ambiguous name. And also we met on Fridays instead of Wednesdays. I also remember that. I feel I feel like a boomer now. Good God. Anyways, yeah. Now, I also remember how I felt when I joined the very first meeting. Like my mom, I was driving home from my violin lesson. I was watching some Minecraft videos on my phone, and mom was like, "Hey, there's this new club that's around. It's from this organization called Toastmasters. You want to join?" And I said, "Sure." And then I joined the meeting, and I was so confused and so scared because I was basically looking at 20 perfect strangers, except William, of course. So actually, I should technically say 19 perfect strangers then, but. Yeah, it was awkward as heck. I didn't know what to say, but as you can see now, that has all changed. After these 4 years, Future Leaders Gavel Club has become one of my most valuable assets, and I'm sure it will become one of all of the current members. When you eventually have to leave Future Leaders Gavel Club, like we do, unfortunately, all good things must come to an end because the human lifetime is only so limited. But eventually, when you do have to face the inevitable departure from this club, it will have become one of your greatest assets as well. Not only because it will help your confidence grow faster than O of N time. If any of you are into computer science, you will get that reference. It is this thing called time complexity. But also, you will get to meet a ton of new cool people. Some of the cool people I've met in Toastmasters include somebody who can play 6 instruments, making me feel inadequate again. I can only play one. That's 16.7% of six. Ouch. Bro's flexing on us. Bro's flexing on us for real, for real. And who can speak a lot of languages, including Chinese, much better than I can. And there's also somebody here who can speak Arabic. There's also somebody here whose memory is so good that they could probably replace the hard drive and RAM in my computer, and I could still play Minecraft without a hitch. Uh, Also, some people here I would say would be very successful. You've probably heard the Gen Alpha people talk about rizzing. You know, there are a lot of people here who would be very good at that, and you can obviously tell because when they stand up to give a speech, it looks if ore was electromagnetic radiation and you had a camera that could photograph it, they would be like white blobs because they just have that much ore, and other very cool people as well. So those are the two main reasons why, as William said, FLGC will become one of your greatest assets when you eventually do have to leave the club. It's becoming one of your greatest assets right now. I can already see some of you are in the process of the FLGC transformation. Some of you do it very quickly like this, and some of you do it more slowly like this. But don't worry, even if you're a slow transformer, it will happen eventually, guys. Don't worry, it will happen eventually, and you will like I know a lot of people here definitely admire the likes of Claire and Caleb because they're one of those people that look like white blobs on the Aura camera that I've just invented in my head. But I know some of you will aspire to be like Claire and Caleb, and don't worry. If you stay in this, you guys stay in this club long enough and dedicate yourself to this club long enough, you will become more like them every day. And how do I know that? Because it's already happening. It's like the second law of thermodynamics. The entropy in the universe constantly increases. It never goes back down and it never stops increasing. That's you guys with your that's you guys with your aura. You're becoming more like them every day. So don't forget that. Now, I'm going to try to not be William and not talk for 20 minutes because one, I can't even do that, and two, I do know we have a table topic session today. So I just wanted I should have said oops. Okay, anyway. I just wanted to end this short waxing poetic with this fire quote I found online from another speech, and I wanted to adapt it and say it to you guys to close off my remarks. Future leaders, the best is yet to come. Remember that quote. It's a fire quote. Put it in your head. Store it in here. Try if you forget everything else, try to have that quote in the back of your head. All right, back to President Claire.
All right, thank you so much, Ethan, for such a humorous and entertaining speech as always. It definitely wouldn't be a true FLGC meeting without your very passionate long speeches, as well as your presentations, all your humor, and your dedication to support and uplift our members. And beyond that, Ethan, you have contributed to our club in so many ways. I still remember when you were present and inviting the workshop speakers to your presentations about Minecraft or about your time in another country. So, regardless of what you have done, we truly appreciate everything you do for FLGC, and I'm sure our members will definitely miss you a bunch. So, thank you again for an inspiring and humorous speech, as always. And with that being said, I will pass it on to, last but not least, our third senior, who is Rachel. Rachel, the stage is yours.
Thank you, President Claire. Good evening, future leaders. I can't believe I'm giving my senior speech, my last speech. Did you know that I've been in FLGC longer than my time in high school? That's crazy. I'm planning to continue coming to meetings until the end of the summer, but with this being my last speech, I wanted to make it extra special. Over the last 4+ years I've been a part of this club, I've made a lot of special memories and a lot of special friends as well. The camaraderie everyone has in this club is special and unmatchable. Every meeting is always so unique with the different topics being covered, the different table topics, sessions, speeches, and any other random occurrences that might happen during the meeting. And more importantly, everyone in this club has always been so kind, supportive, intelligent, responsible, brave, and talented. I find every FLGC meeting very special and memorable, and I'll tell you right now that I've had documents this entire time where I write down my favorite parts of the meeting during the meeting. Usually what I write down on this document are the table topics responses, but occasionally I will write down other things that I loved about the meeting as well. I write quite a lot about the meetings and in my journals that I write every day, which some of you might know I call my blessings books. FLGC is a huge part of my life and it has been for many years, and it'll be really sad for me to go. My Wednesday nights are going to feel so weird if I don't come to meetings, but I will come back and visit whenever I can. I would love to give a workshop after I've been in college for a while and I know a little more about my career goals, and I could legitimately do a workshop. The message I want to leave everyone with tonight is one that I've reiterated over and over in my speeches and maybe even in my table topics, but I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Just be yourself. We're all very different people with different interests, strengths, talents, and the world needs all kinds of different people. Everyone is unique in their own way. A lot of people think they're weird, including myself. I think I'm really weird and insane, but everyone is weird in their own special way, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. I think I'm a bit eccentric myself, but I realize this world needs eccentric people. This world needs every single one of us here in this meeting. And it's not good if we try to hide the real us because the world needs the real you. Also, if other people aren't going to appreciate you for who you are, they're not worth your time, your headspace, or your attention. Every one of you should love yourself for who you are and always respect yourself and take care of yourself as well. And if you love yourself, it's easier to love others as well. This club in particular has helped me be open about my interests and talking about things I believe in and things I'm interested in while speaking publicly. And I think for someone who's usually not subtle about anything and likes to talk a lot, I think this club helped me open up even more. When I go off to college, I'll be starting my career goals in acting and music, but I also have another not career related goal, but a life goal. This goal is to inspire other people to be their true selves, their true, unfiltered, genuine, special selves. And I know everyone feels insecure from time to time, especially at this age, because, we're all growing, we're all going to school with other people who are also insecure, and a lot of drama happens, and sometimes it can be hard to be open, but this club has helped me be more open about my interests, and in turn, I want to inspire others with what I learned at this club. I'm going to miss everything about FLGC. I'm going to miss giving my speeches, my weird table topic sessions with the crazy creatures that a lot of you remember. I'll miss hearing all of your speeches, like Ethan's math and science speeches and William's Selena virus infested speeches and Michelle's brother coming into the room all the time, and I'm gonna miss Caleb and his awesome impressions of different historical figures. And there's something special about every single one of you that I will definitely miss. And all the meetings are always really fun and I enjoy what goes on, but what I'm going to miss the most is the FLGC club members. FLGC has been such a special part of my life that I'll wink wink remember forever. I hope I left a good legacy for FLGC. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Rachel, for such an insightful, inspiring, and heartfelt speech, as always. I'm sure your words will surely linger with our club members, and we definitely appreciate you always sharing your true self, your passions, your interests, and always being such a great leader to our members. So we'll definitely cherish all of the memories that Rachel, you have brought to our club, whether that's sharing your interests about Little House on the Prairie or about your interests in music or acting. Definitely, we will remember you for years to come, and we definitely wish you success in your future path. All right, so everyone, let's give another huge round of applause to our three seniors for sharing their amazing speeches tonight. And with that being said, now it is time to move on to the next portion of tonight's senior send-off, which is a little presentation that our members have helped to create. And I will share my screen and then we'll just be having a couple people share out. All right. All right, so FLGC senior send-off. This is obviously a toast to our seniors because it is Toastmasters and our seniors are very masterful. So again, we'd love to show our thanks and appreciation for all of our seniors. And I bet we have so many good words to say that they would not fit into this meeting. So I'll just go ahead and move on and pass it to Caleb.
Thank you so much, Claire. If y'all notice, I do have my glasses off in case I get emotional during tonight's meeting, but I want to share a few words, of course, to all of you and, of course, to our seniors. So, first of all, all the seniors have mentioned how you were inspired by other people. Excuse me. But all of you really were what inspired me. And this is not a funeral, but I don't know why I'm like this. But it's because all of you really have had a great impact on my life. And I remember my first meeting. And I remember meeting Ethan, William, Rachel, and you're all so refined. And at that point in time, I wasn't refined. I didn't know how to communicate and express yourselves the way that you were expressing yourself, and have the confidence to speak with authority and speak authoritatively about difficult topics and complex issues. And I wanted to have that same kind of authority. And I looked up at William, Ethan, Rachel. I wanted to have that. And I agree 100% with William that persistence is really what pays off. And looking back and seeing my life back then and my life now, I see how the skills that I have developed, the people skills, connections, all of that came from this very club. And just learning from all of you and seeing how all of you handled situations, leadership. I wasn't a leader before entering this club. But seeing how all of you handled meetings, how all of you handled difficult situations that came up. I remember when there was a point in time when this club wasn't flourishing. This club, William and Ethan and Rachel, of course, because she was at every meeting, will remember this, but there were only like 6 of us here. And Rachel, William, Ethan, Kevin, Devin stuck with it, and I did too. And slowly we got out of having 6 members. Now there are 24 people in this meeting, but I learned a lot of leadership lessons during that time. And I would look up to William. What's William gonna do? What's his next step? Ethan, is he still gonna stick around? I mean, it's just 6 of us. Like, Ethan's pretty busy and smart. He has other things to do. And Rachel, like, she was the only girl. And there was a point in time when we had someone come from another club, and then she was like looking at everyone. She was like, "Are there any other girls here?" And it was just Rachel. But Rachel stuck with us, and now we have more girls, of course, and it's great that there's lots of inspiration. It's great that we have many people of different genders because it helps to give the club vitality, but Rachel stuck with it. And I really learned a lot from her perseverance, William's leadership, Ethan's brainiac. And those are just a few words that I would like to share with you. Now we'll go on to some photos of all of our seniors. So Claire, would you mind sending the first slide? All right, this one is of Ethan, of course. And of course, Ethan is a wonderful speaker, and he, like William mentioned, he was consistent in what he did. He continued to show up to meetings. And I remember there was a time when Ethan's speaking abilities were, sometimes he would stutter, sometimes he would say things that he didn't want to say. But instead, he kept at it. And he's been able to impress admissions officers at Stanford. He's been able to impress all of the people that he's been able to work with, research assistants, people who share his interests and can help him in his future career, simply because he stuck with this club. And you have some snapshots, of course, of Ethan with his violin. That's to the right hand side is Ethan giving a contest speech, And then, of course, we have Ethan's trip speeches. But the one in the center is what I really want to highlight, and that's his love for art and mathematics. And seeing a Mobius strip heart linked together, that was really something else. And I had no clue how Ethan ever pulled it off. I didn't try it again because it was too magical just seeing Ethan do it so simply. But it just highlights how Ethan has these passions, and he's able to link these passions together in such a way that you would almost think it's easy. But something as abstract as art and as difficult as mathematics and science, all together in just that one picture that we have in front of us, is quite an accomplishment and something that I know only a few people on this planet can do, and one of them is, of course, Ethan Lee. So we'll move on to the next photo. Okay, this one is of William, and of course we have Cowpoke Will. We also have William giving a contest, table topics contest speech, and a speech contest speech in the center. Of course, he's musically talented, and I didn't know he sung like that incredibly well. Of course, you're in choirs too, but that presentation that you gave us at the FLGC recital was really stunning, and you definitely have developed other passions as well as your primary passion of science and research. And of course, there's a photo of you with one of your last speeches. And I always looked up to William. William was always like my rival because he was so good at what he did. And I remember one time that table topic speech that he gave, that's the right hand corner. After he won that competition, I went home. Well, I was home, of course, but I was not happy. I said, William won that competition. That should have been me. And so I did something that I had learned at a leadership summit. And it was that if you have a competitor or a rival, put their image on your desktop screen. And I literally did that for like a couple of hours until I realized that it was really hard looking at like a screen with a person on it. But it really taught me like William's way of speaking, communicating himself. It was really something to look up to and just something to admire. And I would always just look at that and be like, I want to be like that. I want to speak that way. And William was just a great role model to that. He also taught me great leadership skills, and I definitely learned lots from his time as president. And I was VP under him, my first time ever as VP. That was scary. And I was also at the time when there were not a lot of members at the club, and I had to really figure things out, and William was always there to help me and guide me and tell me what needed to be done. So hold on, I got some more water. Then we'll move on to the next slide for time's sake. Man, I think I have the Selena virus, everyone. Too bad she's not here. Maybe she's here. I don't know. But anyways, Rachel. There's so much that can be said about Rachel. And she's always just such a calming and centralized person. And when she speaks, she always speaks with authority and just a calm sense of purpose. And she just has that way of showing you life lessons without it sounding like lecture. She just has this natural flowing, calming way of speaking into people's lives. And really, that's what I admire about Rachel. Of course, her consistency. She doesn't matter what the circumstances is, we can count on Rachel. And that's really something that we're gonna miss, because now if we have a role and it's not gonna be Rachel, we're gonna be like, oh, I hope this person can make it. But when it was Rachel, Rachel's gonna be there. No worries about that role. And one thing, of course, though, that's not on these photos is Rachel's secretary abilities. And if you see, okay, we were in an officer meeting once, like a year ago. No, like 2 years ago. And Rachel wasn't there. So William, he was going over the officer roles and showing people, like showing the new people who were there what it was all about. And then he went on to talk about the secretary role. And he said, oh, let's see what Rachel's been doing. So he opened up the document, shared it with everyone, and it was like so detailed. There were details everywhere. There were details about who was in the meeting, who spoke, what roles were there, and we were all so shocked. Like completely shocked at how detailed Rachel was with everything that she did. But with that said, Rachel really has been the incumbent, as William stated, in this club, and just has really taught everyone the power of persistency and the power of detailed notes. So with that said, I really want to wish all of you the best. I know you're going to be very successful, and we're definitely going to miss you, but know that all of the skills and all the people you have impacted, you've really made a big difference in our lives. So thank you, and I'll pass this back to President Claire.
All right, thank you so much, Caleb, for leading our first part of the presentation. I can tell how much the seniors have meant to you, and I'm sure they have meant so much to all of the rest of our members as well. So thank you again, Caleb, for leading us through memory lane and telling all of those stories. I'm sure we will definitely keep them at heart. And I want to move a little quicker through our presentation, since I still want to get through, perchance, a couple of those table topics questions. So, of course, we had to have some senior superlative awards. So starting off is, all right, here it is. Secretary of State or of Toastmasters. And I'm sure because of how much we've already mentioned it during this meeting, you all should know who the answer is. And of course, this award goes to Rachel in recognition of your years of dedication to FLGC, and like everyone said, how you have been the secretary incumbent. Your legacy as a secretary has definitely left a long-lasting impact, and I'm sure you have taught many things to our future FLGC secretaries. So we thank you, Rachel, for that. All right, and then next up, don't know what, okay, here it is. Most likely to need a part two. I assume this superlative is pretty predictable as well. And of course, this one goes to Ethan in recognition of your unwavering commitment to going over time and somehow making us entertained and enjoying your speech every minute of it. So thank you, Ethan, for all of the wisdom you've shared with us through all of your speeches and table topics, and we'll definitely keep those at heart as we continue on with our FLGC journey. All right, and last but not least, most likely to say something profound. Of course, there's only one senior left, and this award goes to William in recognition of your unshakable calm, deep insight, and talent for dropping wisdom every speech. I'm sure you have shared so many advice, whether that's through your speeches, like the speech you gave tonight, your table topics, to even your speech evaluations. You have always been supporting and uplifting our members, so we greatly appreciate you for that. All right, I hope everyone enjoyed our pretty predictable senior superlatives. But with that being said, jokes aside, I would like to pass it on to Angelina just to give out some general FLGC certificates.
Thank you, Claire. So as you three have been in this club for a couple of years now, basically ever since it was founded, we decided that we should prepare a few certificates for each of you as a way to show our appreciation of the things that you've done for us, but also just as a monument to how much you have grown individually as well. So the first certificate will be for Rachel. So Rachel has definitely contributed a lot to this club, and without her, this club definitely wouldn't be where it is today. And the next certificate is going to be for Ethan. So once again, Ethan has excellent speeches, and they have also definitely added to this club as well. And last but not least, the third certificate is for William. And William has also contributed so much. And although I haven't been here the whole time or since the beginning of this club, I'm sure that all three of you have grown a lot and also contributed so much to this club as well. So with that being said, I would like to congratulate you all as well. And yeah, it's been so great knowing all of you.
All right, thank you so much, Angelina, for ending us off. And then, of course, I have to end off with a statement. Once a Toastmaster, always a Toastmaster. So you guys have definitely left a legacy, and we will remember you guys, I'm sure, for so many years to come. And you guys will definitely be part of our FLGC Hall of Fame. So thank you so much for everything you guys have done for FLGC. And I know we are running a little bit short on time, so I'd love to still get to our fun table topics section for tonight before we end it off. All right, so for the table topic section, as I explained at the start of this meeting, we will start by having some of our members ask our general FLGC members some questions. So these are for our members to answer, and then we might have one or two people answer. And then after that, we'll pass on to the seniors. We'll ask a few questions for the seniors, and you guys, whoever would like to answer the question, can just unmute and answer the table topics question. And heads up, officers, we may not get to every question, so we might just choose a few here and there to save some time. But I'll start off with the first one for our members to answer, and anyone can just raise their hand or start off. And the first question is, what is your favorite memory with one of our seniors? So anyone can start off.
I'd like to say my favorite memory with one of our seniors is, so I remember on my first day when I was here, I didn't turn on my camera, like probably many of you. I basically didn't do anything. I just sat there watching and trying to figure out what it was, because I was just told, this is a cool thing, you should try it out. So I sat down, I started listening, and I remember I was going through and I didn't know what was happening. I was absolutely confused. And then there came the speeches. And I remember Rachel gave the first speech, and it was really inspiring and it moved me, and then it made me actually want to do a speech or actually involve myself in the meeting. And I think along that time, that's when I also realized that at first I thought of it more as like a class. You would talk to each other when you're told to, you would do what you were told to, and that's what you would do. But then I realized, as I started reading the chat, I realized there's more like a full-fledged conversation more like a place to express yourself. And I feel like that one of the greatest inspirations, and you definitely did do what you aspire to. I think Rachel, I'm really sad that you're leaving, but I think your legacy will be here forever.
All right, thank you so much, Selena, for sharing such an amazing memory about Rachel. And would anyone else like to answer the question of what's your favorite memory with one of our seniors? Natasha.
Yeah, so I remember when I gave my first speech, my icebreaker speech, I was really nervous about it. I prepared like my little cards beforehand. I was like thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to get this across? Is this even going to be the right timing? I didn't know how the timer backgrounds work. I still don't, honestly. So I'll still have to figure that out. But the one who gave the evaluation for my speech was William, and he said something like, well, the whole evaluation was great, but I do remember he said something that compared my speech to something like a smiling tiger. I don't remember what the exact quote is. William, if you do, please put that in the chat or something. I want to remember that. But yeah, so it was just kind of a milestone, I guess, to have my first speech. And then for him to evaluate that was really special. So we'll miss you, William. Thank you for evaluating my first speech.
All right, thank you so much, Natasha, for sharing such an amazing memory. And would anyone else like to answer this question? All right, if no others, that's fine. We can move on to maybe Michelle, would you like to ask the next question?
Yeah, Claire. If you could describe one or more of the seniors with one word, what would it be and why? Oh, Selena, I see you raise your hand. You can answer.
I feel like I'm talking a lot today. I think it would be funny for Ethan because on it, I remember one of his speeches. He knows a lot about Minecraft, and I feel like all of his speeches just center around humor. I once read somewhere, probably on the internet, probably doom scrolling on YouTube, that the thing that hits the person the most is an emotion. And for Ethan, that emotion is humor, being funny, and he's generally somebody you can talk to and then just start laughing midway through a sentence because of everything that he says. Also, the fact that he knows a lot of brain rot, I think that's also funny. And I feel like even his last speech, even though a lot of people had a heartwarming speech, which was really good, they all did really good. But I think Ethan, he instead of hitting a more of a heartwarming perspective, he decided to change something and decided to go for humor and talk about all the memories that were made. So I think that if I could describe a senior with one word, it would be funny.
All right, thank you so much, Selena, for such a great word to describe Ethan. And then, uh, how about, yeah, we can ask maybe one more question to the members. Caleb, would you like to ask this one?
Yeah, sure. Which senior has inspired you and why?
Um, for me, I would say Rachel because I remember one of her speeches was about her the languages she learned, which is Spanish and Chinese, which are the same ones that I'm learning. So how she talked about it and how she shared how she um studied it and She made me um believe I could get as good as her at those languages and to not stop trying.
All right, thank you so much, Eliana, for sharing. And then, would anyone else like to answer this question?
Could I possibly answer? Alrighty. So, which senior would inspire me or has inspired me? Well, I can't say just one. All four, if Alvin was here, but since he's not here, all three of these seniors have inspired me. William, when I started this club, I was like, ooh, I don't like talking. But once I heard you talk, it was like, I want to be like that. And this is the same with Ethan and Rachel. Like, I'm pretty sure Ethan, I was like, I think my humor just like kind of Ethan's humor rubbed off on me. And for Rachel, your inspiring speeches, that's also inspired me to like inspire others. Like that's also been a goal. And also, I just want to mention, but once my parents heard all three of you speak, my parents, they're like, Michelle, if you don't be like them, I'm gonna grab the belt and whoop you. Yeah, you better be like them. Okay, and that's all for my answers. So back to you, Claire.
All right, thank you, Michelle, for sharing such lovely memories of our seniors. And as you did mention, unfortunately, Alvin was unable to join us, but of course, we do want to acknowledge him as such a valuable FLGC member and officer in the past. We definitely have appreciated everything Alvin has done for our club, and I think I still remember the speech he gave. I believe it was about vignettes or something like that. So definitely, we say a great thanks to Alvin, and although he's unable to join us tonight, we still congratulate and appreciate him and wish him success on his future path. All right, we'll try to get this last portion done as soon as possible. But the next portion is to ask some questions to our seniors, and any of you feel free to answer any question you would like. The first question is just very simple. What are your future plans after graduation?
I'll answer. My plans after graduation are to attend Biola University and learn more about theater and music for my career. And aside from my career goals, I want to work on um, letting some of my insecurities go and not having as much anxiety. And I also want to start evangelizing to people because that's something I always wanted to do, and I'm sure going to Biola University can help me with that.
All right, thank you so much, Rachel. It's definitely great to hear about your future plans, and all of our FLGC members wish you great success in your path forward. And we hope in the future all of our seniors are able to come back maybe one meeting and give us some life updates. All right, and anyone can feel free to go next.
Okay, I was just gonna say, you guys probably already know this already because I mentioned it several times, but I'm going to go and study physics because some of you may have seen the quote that I yes did indeed come up with while I was swimming laps in my local YMCA. That is actually where it came from. I did not pull this from the internet. I made it up, and I think it's pretty accurate. And I put below it, and I believe I put below it. Some people they shut out the however crazy you think the universe is probably at least twice as crazy as that. And then I put below that some people they shut out the crazy because they don't like it and it shuts down their brain. But I'm a different kind of person because I believe that if you study the if you study the crazy hard enough, then the crazy becomes really cool and it suddenly becomes not so crazy and it's very easy to understand and it can tell you a lot of things about why the world is like this because I know all of you asked all of you asked that question as children. There's your answer.
Thanks so much, Ethan, for sharing. And then next, William, would you like to share?
This I haven't shared with all of the future leaders yet, but I think that if there was a fourth takeaway, it would be that Future Leaders Gavel Club taught me to think in a community oriented mind. And I think that community oriented mind and community oriented actions are really just my plans for after graduation and after I go off to college. Personally, I think I've viewed everything that I've done in high school as a way of giving back to the community because I think that in this community and in so many others, I've been given the resources to learn and grow alongside my friends, my colleagues, my comrades, and in that sense, I really want to give something back to it. In other words, I'm always thinking, how can I contribute and give back to the community? So whether that means that I go off to college and I continue to educate others about my passions, whether that be biology, music, chemistry, or some crazy tidbits of science and history here and there, that's something that I keep like to doing. One of my plans too is to join an adult Toastmasters club because I know I'm still far from done in my journey of learning how to improve my public speaking skills. And in terms of the going back to the community-oriented mind, I also see myself potentially in the medical field because I think that's the best way to give back, one of the best ways to give back to the community. Because especially in the medical field, you have a lot of patients who are not able to stand up for themselves. And I think it's something truly noble to be able to stand up for what's right in these patients' toughest times. And I think that's what I plan to do after graduation.
All right, thank you so much, William, and all of our seniors for sharing your plans. And for sure, we wish you guys all so much success and hope to hear all about what happens in the future. All right, so since we are a little short on time, Selena, I see you asked if you could ask a question. Would you like to ask it?
Okay, so I've asked this question before, but I want to ask it again in case you guys have figured anything out. But what is the number one thing that you wish you could tell your younger self?
I can answer that. Since I think about my past so much, there's a lot I wish I could tell my younger self. A lot. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'd be more blunt with her or be more easy on her because I think my younger self was a little something like that. If I was going to be blunt, I would say, don't be weird. But if I was going to try to offer some more, something a little more reassuring, I would say, just hang in there. Just, things will work out in the future. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing such a heartfelt response. Would any of our other seniors like to share?
I guess I can go next. So I think if there was one thing that I would tell my younger self, it would be don't be afraid to be authentic and to ask for help when you need it. I think a lot of us are here because we want to improve our communication skills, but communication isn't just speaking in front of an audience. That's public speaking. There's also the intrapersonal and interpersonal communication skills that you're here to refine. When I was younger, I would think that I honestly was really timid and shy, and I hated asking for help from others. Whenever there was something in class that I didn't understand, I would almost never raise my hand in class because I thought it would make me look dumb in front of my classmates. But I think through my high school years, and definitely Toastmasters helped tons with this transformation, I started to realize that there's beauty in not knowing things. And just like some of you have mentioned that I'm interested in science. I think one of the key principles of science is that there's always more to be learned. The same goes for public speaking. Your public speaking journey is a marathon, not a sprint. So it's really important that you keep in mind that you're constantly improving yourself. And without asking for help, your journey becomes stagnant. So if you want to keep improving yourself, the best way is to speak up and ask for help. Don't take into heart what others might think of you, because at the end of the day, you're the one who calls the shots and you're the one who is happy with yourself.
All right, thank you so much, William, for sharing such an inspiring and heartfelt message. And I believe lastly, Ethan, do you have something you would maybe want to share?
I will be real. I didn't. This is a question that I've not thought about much, but I guess I would say something similar to what has been said already. Don't don't be weird while trying to be cool. Uh, because apparently seventh grade me did not get that message. Seventh grade me tried to be cool by being slightly weird, and I now realize that being cool and being weird are not well. Uh-oh. It looks like I've forgotten what the opposite of mutually disjoint is. Mutually inclusive. Oh, I don't think that's correct, but the opposite of mutually disjoint, for those of you versed in the language of set theory, or mutually exclusive, I guess you could say mutually inclusive. Being cool and being weird are not mutually inclusive, so you don't have to do both. Back to you, President Claire.
All right, thank you so much, Ethan, and all of our seniors for answering those questions. Unfortunately, we may not have time for more questions. I know we had a couple more planned out, but we did have an absolutely wonderful senior send-off. And we once again just want to say a huge thank you to all of our seniors for dedicating so many years to supporting and being the foundation and backbone to FLGC. And I assure you it will definitely not be the same once you guys leave. So we will definitely miss your presence and we will take into account the words and advice that you guys have shared with us today. And we will carry that forward as we continue improving on our FLGC journey. And with that being said, I would like to invite any comments from our FLGC members or guests. Oh, yes. And then Caleb said, thank you for the reminder. So let's do a group photo. We'd love for everyone, I know we have a lot of people with their cameras off, so we'd love for you guys to maybe turn on your cameras, and then maybe we can take a few screenshots. All right. So three, I'll give a second for everyone to turn on their cameras. All right. Okay. 3, 2, one. All right. Great. I think I got a couple there. Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for a wonderful group photo. And I know we have a lot of parents here today, so I'd love to maybe hear some words from them. And I see Advisor Melissa is with us today, so I'd love to invite you to say any words.
Dear William, Ethan, and Rachel, today we celebrate not just your high school graduation, but the incredible legacy you've each built in the Future Leaders Gavel Club. You've led the conviction, spoken with courage, and inspired others to rise with you. As you step into college, remember, true leader is not about titles, but about influence, integrity, and service. The seeds you planted here of critical thinking, compassion, and bold communication will grow whenever you go. And while you leave this club, the spirit you leave behind will continue to shape future leaders. We are so proud of you, grateful for you, and excited for all the chapters ahead. Go shine. The world is ready for you. Thank you, President Claire. Before end, I want to still add one thing. When I heard Caliber crying, all of you, what you spoke make me cry behind too. You look like my babies. Future Club is my baby. Someone remember I promised something. I said this club will, how many days we will run? How many years we will run? Someone remember what I said? I said the word is forever. Everyone is here has responsibility to plan legacy in our club. I said, even though one day I have a grandchildren, I want my grandchildren can come FLGC, which is the Future Gavel Clubs. So Caliber, don't cry. I encourage William, don't cry, and Ethan, Rachel, don't cry. I think club will invite you come over next year for send new seniors, which caliber. So we want to this club continues to work on very well. I believe this club will bless all of us here and all of next generations here. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you so much, Advisor Melissa, for all of your kind words and your dedication in always supporting and uplifting the Future Leaders Gavel Club. I know Devin and Kevin were unable to join us tonight because I know of their busy schedules, but I'm sure because of their initiative, all of our members were able to enjoy the privileges that we have today and experience tonight's senior send-off. So a big thank you to you, and thank you so much again for your kind words. And I'd love to ask maybe if any of the parents have any comments or anything they would like to share before the end of the senior send-off.
Hi, President Claire. I just have one comment, and I want to thank you each and every one of them, because when you learn through this club and when you have the stories from your peers, your parents, and your family. Just like me, I always learn from all of you. And I laugh with you, even if my mic camera are off, but you have all the love and the support behind the scene from your parents. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Advisor Sunny, for all of your motivational and kind words. Definitely, we appreciate all of our parents and advisors who are always supporting us each meeting, and we cannot do it without you guys. So, thank you so much. And would any of the other parents like to share anything?
I would love to share really quick. I'm Rachel's mom, and I just want to say what a great impact this club has had on my thankful for it. And I've listened to so many speeches. I know all of your voices, and I know just the same as Rachel said, I know this and all the table topics and who and all the funny stories. It's just been such a blessing for her and for me too, just to experience this with you guys. And I'm going to really miss it just as much as Rachel will. So thank you so much, and to the parent volunteers too, to make this possible.
Thank you so much, Miss Opelt, for your very kind words. We will definitely miss Rachel so much, as well as our other seniors. But I assure you guys, we will definitely be inviting you back in the near future to give us some life updates and give a workshop or a speech or something like that. So I'm sure we'll see each other again, but we will definitely miss all of your amazing speeches and humor and the presence that you bring to FLGC. So we thank you all again. All right, is there anyone else who would like to add on?
I would add one more thing. William, Caleb, William, Rachel, or Ethan, when you go to university, if you still, have a passion, maybe consider about to build a college level Toastmaster through the online, if possible. I would like encourage Devon Kevin too. So everyone's here can go to college level future leaders. How is that? The idea. Let's see. And we will figure it out.
Yeah, thank you so much, Advisor Melissa. I think definitely when all of our the whole lineage of FLGC members graduate, I bet we'll all trickle into this college level or adult club where we can all meet each other again and still enjoy the adult FLGC experience. So thank you so much for the suggestion. Is there anyone else who would like to add on? All right. If not, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who joined us tonight for the senior send-off. Thank you for spending 1.5 hours with us tonight. I know it's been a long time, but I'm sure the senior send-off has been very enjoyable and bittersweet for everyone. So we will definitely miss all of our seniors so much. And we wish you guys all the successes in your future college and career paths. And we definitely hope to hear from you guys back again. And I'm sure we'll be able to see each other again. So a huge thank you again to our club members, our seniors, and our dedicated advisors and parents for supporting us all the way. I'm sure this would not have been possible without the efforts of every single one of you. So again, huge kudos and congratulations to our seniors. And we hope you all have a very enjoyable summer before you begin your first year of college. So if there's anyone else who would like to speak up, you can do so now. Otherwise, members, hope you guys aren't too sleepy, but we will see you guys next Wednesday.
Bye. Thank you so much.
I'll miss all of
Thank
you.
you.
I'll miss all
Bye.
of you.
Yo.
Bye. I'll miss all of you.
We'll miss you.
Yo.
Miss you.
Miss you guys. Bye. Thank you.
Miss you.